Hey guys, Noel here, and it is Friday night. Before we go to bed, I thought it would be fun to do a video game review for the video game section of the YouTube channel. Tonight we will be doing the fourth in our 4 for 4 video game review series, and what better way to have our final fourth than Sonic 4, a game that I enjoyed playing very much on the Xbox 360 many a night in 2010 when I would go to my friend's house to watch Music Station and eat Chinese food. So without further ado, let's get down to playing some Sonic the Hedgehog 4 on the Xbox 360, Sonic's return to 2 dimensions. Or does he? So, let's get down to it. So here's Sonic, adorable and wagging his finger. Now, somehow my saved game when I beat this game got erased, so we don't have all the levels unlocked. The final level is a Dr. Eggman boss gauntlet that ends with the return of his Sonic 2 Eggman mech. But a lot of the levels in this game, really all of these levels, are reminiscent of previous 2D Sonic levels. This game is developed basically by Dimps, so the mechanics of this game feel different than a Sonic Team Sonic game from the early 90s on something like the Sega Genesis or Sega CD. That doesn't mean that this game is bad. I will tell you, though, I feel like the controls are not as responsive. And it's not that I'm feeling like a bunch of delay, but there will be things and further levels in this game where I feel like Sonic is moving either too slowly or too much in a certain direction that is not reacting to the amount of pressure I'm putting on the D-pad proportionately. It's either kind of under or overestimating the movement as far as Sonic's reaction and response to my D-pad input. The other thing that you need to notice about this game is the fact that Sonic is much more floaty than he is in other games of the 2D Sonic variety. Now, is this a bad thing? Not necessarily, but it's not as good as... It's not as fun to play Sonic floating around like a Virtua Fighter Battle Arena Toshin Din character as it is for him to be that, relentless, forward-moving character that we saw in Sega Genesis and Sega CD games, where his movements were, just very, very responsive, and he was just very fast, and everything just felt very natural. You could just kind of push forward, and the whole game, while it was challenging, had kind of an effortless quality to the fact that Sonic could just keep moving forward, and you can just keep kind of pushing through the level by moving forward. So very, very amazing gameplay in those older Sonic games, at least for my taste, that is not quite captured here. But I will tell you that when I played this game for the first time, I was just so excited to see Sonic back in 2D that I knew that Sonic felt different, but I just couldn't quite put my finger on why, and it wasn't until much later that I realized, oh yeah, the quote-unquote physics in this game are not the same as the Sega Genesis Sonic games that I'm used to. I do have the Sonic Advance games on the Game Boy Advance, which are good, and this actually feels a lot more like one of those games, which I believe Dimps did develop, so that makes sense. So here we obviously see a return to the Casino Night style level here. Get some Sonic spinball going here with that pinball flapper. And this level here, I don't know, at least for me, this is where the controls start to feel a little bit wonky. I know I'm being a little bit nitpicky here, but it's, I'll use an example here. We have an amazing restaurant where I live called the Green Arch, and under its original owners, everything was absolutely perfect. And then it got some new owners who are amazing, but if little things are off from the old ways, you notice them very, very much. Like, the cheesecake recipe is different at this restaurant now. And a lot of the recipes are the same, but that cheesecake is not. And so, I noticed, well, what's up with this lack of cheesecake here? So, You know, and this is actually, I think, a little bit more severe because there's some noticeable differences. If this is going to be a return to Sonic in 2D from Sega, you know, there are some things that are not as good as the older 2D Sonic games in this. But again, I gotta tell you, back in 2010, anything being in high definition was amazing. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 4 for the Xbox 360. A good game, but does not live up to the perfection of its predecessors. So definitely a game that is not quite as good as Sonic Mania, but nevertheless, if it wasn't for Sonic 4, there wouldn't be a Sonic Mania. So until next time, guys, my name is Noel. You take care. I hope you've enjoyed these 4 themed reviews, and just because this is the 4th of the 4 doesn't mean that we won't be playing more games that end in 4. So have some hot tea and relax for the rest of the night. I'll see you all sooner than later. Bye-bye.